when we say diagnosis, it's just not that we are doing it just to label you. Okay, you know, you have anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
It's not that, you know.
Yeah.
I think labeling should only be reserved for the jars, you know. This is salt, this is coffee, nothing doing
so
that.
nice. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Couch. Today I have someone special and my favorite, I would say. She's been with us for 4 years since Mindpeers has been. And as you know, the whole concept of Beyond the Couch is that we are putting therapists on the couch, asking them questions, unraveling all the questions and inhibitions that we have about mental health to really get into the core, to understand that, whether someone really needs therapy or not, if they do, what happens in it, progress hoti hai ki nahi hoti. And I think today we'll be also touching upon a very, very important point, which is assessments. Because mental health assessments are not as direct, as objective as physical health testing is. So we'll be touching upon that as well. So I bring to you today Aanchal. Hi Aanchal.
Hi Kanika.
So lovely to have you here. I just feel that I've known you for so long and you do such a brilliant job. I want to start with, how would you say, who is Aanchal?
So I have been a clinical psychologist for past 7 years now, and I have been trained, and I think my only passion towards psychology is based on clinical aspects. I have my specialization even in botany honors, but I think after that I decided that I want to pursue psychology. And when I started studying psychology, it was more about, that I want to go into detail about understanding why what we do, how human behavior is stemming towards, especially children and adults, as you know, is my forte, which kind of drives me towards clinical psychology. And yes, unraveling the mental health disorders, going ahead, helping people in need. That's what I do, and I think that's what interests me.
I just want to say, you're very beautiful as a person inside. And outside, of course, I'm no one to judge on that, but because I've worked so much with you, I have learned so much. And I think one thing we all internally say is that you've always been very patient in what you do. You're so patient and you're so passionate about everything that you do. So, like you said, you're a clinical psychologist and you're RCI licensed. I want to get to one core thing with you because I know you're brilliant at this, which is diagnostics, right? Mental health diagnosis is a big question mark. People know that, okay, I need to get assessed. I want to know whether I have anxiety, whether I have ADHD or not. Let's today break down that process. How do you diagnose? How do you test when it comes to mental health?
Okay, so I think mental health is actually an umbrella term, when we talk about it. And there's so many things that people themselves come up with ki I have anxiety, or maybe I have depression, या बेचैनी हो रही है, घबराहट हो रही है, ध्यान नहीं लग रहा, memory issues. So there are a lot of things, but I think from a diagnostic point of view, it is very important to understand what are the first clinical symptoms that any person is experiencing. A person can come to you, a client comes to me and says कि anxiety हो रही है. अभी I don't know what is his perception of anxiety, and I cannot write कि अभी इसने बोल दिया client ने कि anxiety है तो anxiety है. So what I have to go deeper and ask, okay, what exactly is anxiety to? What anxiety might be to one person would be different to somebody else.
Correct.
So it's more of use as a jargon. Anxiety hai. Somebody will come to me and say कि depression hai. So we have to go down and understand, okay, what is your symptom? When they say कि sleep issues hai. अभी sleep issues क्या है? Are you not able to fall asleep? You have difficulty waking up. Is the quantity or the quality of sleep getting affected? Low mood hai. So what is the level of not in the moment? Is it out of reality, or is it actually depression? So it's very important for us to understand what are the clinical signs that a person is presenting.
Got it. Okay.
Apart from that, when we say diagnosis, it is also very important for us to understand whether these symptoms have been persistent over multiple situations. Okay. What if I say कि anxiety सिर्फ office में होती है, or maybe certain set of symptoms are only observed when I'm at home. So then maybe there's some sort of a precipitating factor, or there's something which is leading to that symptom, and in what all situations it is pervasive. So for us to also diagnose, it is also important कि कभी-कभी हो रही है, then it might be situational, which might be normal also.
Correct.
But if it is pervasive for my personal life, for my work life, for my social life, that is something we go again, dig deep and understand.
Got
And
it.
then a lot of maintaining and precipitating factors, like I said, is very important. कि
Got it.
कब से हो रही है, what are the situations that
Got
got into it. So diagnosing, we have a full-fledged classification systems that we follow,
Okay.
and based on those, we have all written signs and symptoms that if these persist for this much period of time, then we diagnose it with any sort of a disorder per se.
Got it.
Be it depression, be it, any mood affective disorder, ADHD we say, could be anything.
Yeah.
So that's how we decide.
So, Anshul, are there tests for it?
Yes, absolutely. So like I said, let's suppose, I'll give you an example. Let's suppose you go to a doctor and you say ki, general physician, and you say ki, I'm having fever. So what will doctor do? Doctor will ask you a few questions. Ki kab se hai? Is there stomach ache? Is there, diarrhea associated
Symptoms
with it?
and
What
all.
are the symptoms?
Yeah.
Now, based upon those symptoms, they tell you, okay, this kind of seems that maybe you have maybe it's a typhoid.
Yeah.
Maybe, I can jot down the symptoms. It could be dengue.
Yeah.
It could be jaundice.
Yeah.
So now, based upon what symptoms you've presented, the doctor came to 3 set of diagnoses.
Okay.
It could be 3 things at there. But in order to confirm, what they will tell you, Kanika, go for blood test.
Yeah.
Go for those tests, because until and unless I have those reports saying कि bile level इतना आ गया है, so it could be jaundice.
Yeah.
या dengue में immunoglobulins का level इतना आ गया है, platelets level count कम हो गया, so it could be
It's
dengue.
dengue. Yeah.
So the test confirms a diagnosis. Similarly, replicating it to mental health, we have certain tools which are standardized, which are objective, which are made to minimize any biases also when each and every psychologist are doing it. So we have those standardized tools, we administer it. It's not, invasive procedures. We're not using those. They are paper pencil tests, all standardized and objective. We use those tests, we conduct it with the client, and then we get certain results, and based upon that, we diagnose. It is very important, when we say diagnosis, it's just not that we are doing it just to label you. Okay, you have anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
It's not that,
Yeah.
I think labeling should only be reserved for the jars, This is salt, this is coffee, nothing doing
So
that.
nice. Yeah.
I think for us, why we are doing it, why we are telling you is because we need to understand what should be our course of action. Treatment कहाँ लेके जाना है ना?
Yeah.
वरना मैं एक डायरेक्शन में कर रही होंगी चीजें,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think the issue is something else.
Yeah.
And also with test, we get to know your strengths also. Test is not all about कि you have anxiety. No, it's about helping us understand who the person is, their strengths, their interest, what are the emotional responses, and that helps us to help you deal or work on build on those strengths.
The way you are, like
Yes.
understanding your personality
Yes.
traits and all.
Absolutely.
No, Anshul, so very nicely put, right? Now, but I'll tell you from my own struggle, when I first entered into this whole thing, and so I did the same, like you said. I went to my therapist and I said, I have anxiety. And we self-assess, or we just Google it up, and we are actually self-diagnosing nowadays, which is not right. But my question to you is that, let's say when you follow the procedure that you do, what we hear a lot of times in mental health is that one person might have gone to multiple therapists and they might have got very different diagnoses, which makes people feel that, I can't believe the systems or the processes that mental health has, right? Because physical health, you got the markers. Now I can get it done from XYZ hospitals. They'll vary a bit here and there, but it's very objective. What do you have to say about that? Getting different diagnoses of the same tests from different therapists. How does that work?
I think like you would select a good laboratory to go to so that your test results are authentic.
Yeah.
You go to a licensed person, RCI
Yeah.
licensed person, because as an RCI license, we are trained to conduct those assessments, and the scoring aspect and how we're trained, they are more or less similar. So if you come to me and I use, let's suppose there's one assessment tool, a very simple one, it's a draw person test. So it's a very interesting test. What I will tell you is, as a clinician, I will tell you, make you feel comfortable on the couch and, in our therapy session. And I'll tell you, Kanika, just draw a picture of any picture that you want, a person. And while you draw it, I just observe how, how your behavior is, how your strokes are while you're drawing. and based upon your drawing, I will come up to understand what are your personality factors.
Really?
Yes. And how am I doing it? You
Hmm.
know, it's just not my subjective opinion. No, it's all based upon a scoring manual that's been provided to me. And that says, if, you know, the person is using dark strokes, this means this. You know, if the person is, you know, putting a lot of attention to the details, this tells this. The way you've drawn the eyes, you know, the way you've drawn the hair. So that tells me, so that scoring manual tells me everything of how you would have performed, you know, and that gives me a structure of, you know, how this person scores on introversion, how they scores on emotional scores, what their underlying conflicts might be. So I get that score. So
Got it.
you need to select that person appropriately. I think because there's so many therapists available, and I think that's also a good thing, you know, because we are more aware about mental health and we need counselors, we need therapists. But if you're selectively choosing to go for assessments, then I think you should invest time to understand who you want to go to, and you know, with whom, which lab or which person you would want to invest.
And how do you
in
do
those
that?
things.
How do you choose? I know, because I know you and I know that you do it brilliantly. But if I'm someone who's very new to it,
Yeah.
what are, let's say, would you say are the 2 to 3 steps that I need to follow to get to the right one? What
So
should be?
I think the first of all, assessments are only performed by rehabilitation psychologists or clinical psychologists.
So RCI, clinical
RCI,
psychologist.
yes. So they have to be RCI licensed. So RCI is Rehabilitation Council of India.
Yeah.
That's a government body
Yeah.
which is only providing license to a few therapists who have trained, who've done MPhil. So that's Masters in Philosophy and Clinical Psychology.
Yeah.
Who've been trained in that, because for those 2 years we are only trained for assessments and we're only trained for therapies.
Got it.
You know, just not any sort of, when we say कि अभी talk therapy सिर्फ वो नहीं है, you know, we've been trained in different aspects
Got
of
it.
therapy, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I think we get so much trained in those tests that even, you know, while we were in, if I can remember my college days, even in the sleep, you know, we were just doing the scorings. We just used to get the results कि इसको ये करना है, now you score.
हाँ.
You know, that's how you used to present.
So that's first thing.
That's the first thing that you have to go. You have to go to an RCI registered clinical psychologist. Second, you have to understand, you know, how you relate with the therapist also, because that is also very important. Assessment would take minimum of, you know, 3 sessions. So that means 3 to 4 hours of your time. Also has to be that you have to, you know, trust, or maybe you have to be able to relate with the therapist.
Vibe match होना चाहिए.
Yes.
Is what
So,
nowadays Gen Zs and millennials
हाँ,
say.
तो वो वाइब मैच होना बहुत जरूरी है, वरना क्या होगा ना, कि आपको यू विल बी ऑल पैरानॉइड अबाउट द फैक्ट कि अच्छा अभी ये इन्फॉर्मेशन कुछ यूज कर लेगी, you know, तो मुझको ये नहीं देना है. So that vibe needs to be matched. And I think third, the client and therapist need to talk about it, you know, how we are using these scores, how
Transparency.
how this will help us, you know, towards building a common treatment plan, or, you know, working on the core issues that we are feeling.
Got it. Very nicely put, Anshul. I want to move forward to talk about, because you're an RCI clinical psychologist, I want to understand what are your specializations. Tell me like your top 2 specializations, most amount of cases that you get.
So I have been, you know, as RCI, I think you are trained to deal with all sorts of clinical issues, you know, be it mood disorders, be it behavioral issues, be it any sort of anxiety issues, even neurotypical. So when we say neurotic, you know, neurotic issues or psychotic issues. So when we talk about mental health, there are psychotic issues, then there are neurotic issues. Psychotic issues, any person who has lost touch with reality. You know, when you talk about schizophrenia, when you talk about psychosis, when you talk about substance-induced psychosis, because I've been consuming certain amount of substance so much that I just derail from reality.
Okay.
So then we are trained to deal with the psychotic issues also. And then we're also trained to deal with neurotic issues.
And
so
neurotic
issues would be mood disorders, would be anxiety, you know, disorders, somatoform disorders, behavioral disorders.
Okay, so you've learned a new thing, psychotic versus neurotic. Great, Anshul, great. So you cover that as well. Okay, move forward on your specialization.
So then even personality disorders, I think that's one of the major, you know, areas that we have to, I think, unravel as clinical psychologists. There are a lot of personality disorders, antisocial personality, you know, borderline personality, histrionic personalities. So I think that is something that we have to cover, and I've been specifically trained to deal with that. So there's a separate set of even diagnosis for diagnosing any sort of personality disorders also. We have a separate diagnostic system and manuals to tell ki, okay, this could be a personality disorder, and then the treatment goes further.
Got it. Actually, before we were starting, there was a very nice thing that you talked about, and I relate to it because I was diagnosed with GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, quite a couple of years back. You were talking about anxiety as a disorder and anxiety as a symptom.
Yes.
Should we touch upon that? I think I feel a lot because anxiety has become such a, firstly, big umbrella.
Yes.
Always on the rise, and actually loosely we use the term, I'm anxious or I have anxiety. So let's talk a bit about that. Anxiety as a disorder and anxiety as a symptom.
Okay. First of all, I think we need to understand what anxiety is. Anxiety is very natural response to any stimulus, which might be an uncomfortable. It's a protective response. Anxiety is never which is there to, harm me. Anxiety is my protective defense mechanism. Abhi, let's suppose I tell you that we just heard a voice, somewhere outside कि कुछ टूटा है ना? Now what happens is the moment we hear it, I say कि बाहर ना कोई चोर आ गया है. There's a thief. कुछ तो मेरे को टूटने की आवाज आई. I haven't heard. I've just heard. I haven't seen. है ना? बाहर कुछ टूटने की आवाज आई and I say कि चोर है बाहर. Now this thought कि बाहर चोर है. What will this do? My body will come into action.
Yeah.
I will become all panicky. I would want to call, police. I would want to make sure everybody is
take
safe.
some actions around it. Yeah.
I will maybe lose, my breathlessness हो जाएगा, tremors हो जाएंगे, right? Now, cut to, I hear that voice कि बाहर कुछ टूटा है. Somebody else, आंचल कुछ गिरा होगा बाहर, वो favorite flower pot पड़ा था मेरा, वो गिरा होगा, है ना, वो टूट गया. So now you are sad. And while you are sad, you're not nervous. You are not panicking. You are not tremors.
Yeah.
आप पुलिस को कॉल करना नहीं शुरू कर दोगे, आप भागना नहीं शुरू कर दोगे, right? So your response was a natural response to a stimulus. और thought क्या थी कि हाँ कुछ टूट गया. It was not a thought कि कुछ devastating हो गया है.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this was a natural response and you would, be able to deal with it. My response was because there was this thought कि कोई चोरी आ गया है वहाँ पे. So, मेरी पूरी बॉडी उस हिसाब से हो गई. So natural anxiety is when there's a nervousness or worry, but we call it an anxiety disorder when there's a situation when it is maybe the stimulus is not in itself harmful, right?
But the body is reacting. So my interpretation becomes faulty over there. My perception towards stimuli, towards external or could be internal stimuli becomes faulty. And that's when, it starts to pervade over every situation. So this pervasiveness is something that makes it an anxiety disorder. Got it.
घबराहट, बेचैनी होना, worry करना, डर लगना, this is very natural. But when it is happening way too often, when it is happening in every situation, and it starts to interfere with my work life, it starts to interfere with my personal life, है ना, कि मेरे को फ्लाइट से इतना डर है कि मैं एयरप्लेन में ही नहीं बैठूंगी, and it's my best friend's wedding and I have to go to another city, I'm not going. This is anxiety disorder.
So I want to say that I don't know how it's a coincidence, but I have that. When I was diagnosed, I realized that I have really bad flight anxiety and the worry, like turbulence bhi hota hai, so I get very worried. And I think it's also because you're thinking that, okay, now I'll die. Maybe that's the future you think of. Whereas, let me give you an example and maybe try to explain me with that. Whereas if I talk about my partner, he's all chill, like turbulence ho raha hai, kya ho jayega? He's all chill. And I'm the one who just goes bonkers about it, that, oh God, oh God, oh God. And breathlessness kicks in, my body starts to ache. So what are we saying? Are we saying that that's because my body is naturally responding to this? And because I have anxiety, so are we saying it's a disorder? How would you interpret that in a clinical way?
Okay, so then I will have to ask you a few questions, Since when have you been experiencing this?
Okay, so for like 4 or 5 years it's been happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long does it persist?
Few minutes when the turbulence is happening.
That's fine. And how is it affecting? Do you stop taking flights,
Yeah, I try to come up with alternates.
Yes.
Like I was so worried during the rainy monsoon season because I know turbulence is there. So I literally drove from Delhi to Hyderabad.
drove from
I
Delhi.
drove because I was like, it's rainy season. I don't want to take a flight because I know it will be very turbulent.
And how did it affect, your work-life schedule?
It took a lot of time. It took me 2 days to reach. I was very tired, all of those things.
And how did you feel emotionally when you took this decision ki I don't want to take a flight?
Very weak. I felt like almost like a loser whose life is getting impeded. You feel like very disabled.
Yeah.
That I could have reached in 1.5, 2 hours, and I took 2 days because monsoon flight turbulences hit me at another level.
And tell me, how was the anxiety in the moment when you decided, ki, okay, let me not take the flight, let me take the
Very
car?
high.
Very high.
Yeah.
And then when you drove, then kind of it settled.
Then I felt like, okay, now I can think about what I have to do there, my work. And I felt so, yeah.
So this is what happens, when we say anxiety, there are also certain reassurance behaviors that we do.
Okay.
Like you said, I will not take the flight. I will go by, I'll drive and I'll go.
Yeah.
So reassurance ho gaya ki, okay, now the anxiety is better.
Yeah.
But it will actually pile up the next time when you will have to take a flight.
Yeah.
And then again it will come to the surface.
Yeah.
And it will come up with, much more intensity.
Hmm.
Because the previous instances, what happened 4 to 5 years back, versus this instance, now they're all piling up. Now the next time when I have to take the flight, so it's a heavy burden for you to take on. So for this, and it also accompanied with what you mentioned, the emotional states, low on confidence, and we do not feel good somewhere.
Yeah.
At times there are feelings of guilt also, that my partner also could
had
not
to come with me all the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, so in these specific cases, we have to discuss how does, what happened 4 to 5 years back that made you, that this fear came into you. And now what are those maintaining factors that are maintaining this sort of fear?
Got it.
Is it certain sort of fears that we talk about, something that has come to us from the childhood? Is it, past experiences? Is it the learned responses from the people? That is, or at times, there's a lot of information also. Like even my husband, he will never take a few airlines. He will not fly in a few airlines because there are instances ki in flights ka, kabhi
कुछ पता नहीं है.
हाँ.
Yeah.
And so this is fear. Of course, certain things are legible.
You're taking safety.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then at times when you feel that, you just जहाँ पे बस उस airlines का नाम सुना कि हमको नहीं करना है.
Yeah.
So that means the information has passed you and that has led to, a fear in you.
Got it.
So even that we need to probe, and then we need to work towards helping you deal with that situation,
Got
what
it.
you could do in that moment while you sit in the flight, what are those basic techniques, like you said, jab turbulence hoga, anxiety aayega.
Yeah.
So we can give
My
you certain
coping mechanisms.
Yes,
And that's what happens in therapy.
Absolutely. So we can give you certain tools, right in the moment that you could do at that point of time, so as to, calm down and feel better. How, what can be our perceptions related to flight? What are our information related to, traveling? We can talk in that in our therapy sessions.
Got
to
it.
just unravel कि thinking kahan se aayi hai,
Got it. Got it.
Fears.
Very interesting. Actually, I want to just shift some gears because I know you work with a lot of workplace clients that we have. A lot of employees come in to take help. What have your thought process been there? Are clients, are employees being open? Are they seeking help, etc.? What's your take on that?
So I think I have had a few, clients in the past who have been associated with us through their workplaces. So I'll just share a short case with you what I kind of dealt with. So there was this person, a 40-year-old man, who came to us, and they were referred to basically us by their organization.
Yeah.
Because the organization was facing a bit of concerns regarding,
Yeah.
their work performance and discipline related issues.
Yeah.
So now when this client was referred to us, he had already he was skeptical about it, that why I am referred for counseling, why
that fear that comes
fear.
in.
What do you want? So as a therapist, it became difficult for me to first break that barrier, help him feel comfortable with me, that whatever he shares with me will be confidential, right? And when that information, he shared, and we got to know, what he's been facing, what is his concerns from the organization. I think that took a lot of time, and then we did assessments also, because we had to understand what his personality factors are. So we undergoing assessment was from a perspective that we can help him take, a better role, a better
Take
informed
charge
role,
and
and
improve.
take charge.
Yeah.
Yes, improve his performance where he's lacking, and let's go ahead with it. Back then, when, so of course, we do not share the entire information with the employers,
Correct.
because there's a confidentiality clause.
Yeah.
We cannot do that. A brief history about what should be done, and what this client is, their employee is facing, was shared to them. And I think that was kind of misused by them in terms of, how they were using, how they kind of, impacted his growth in the organization. So I think this was a bad experience, and I think when employers or organizations are coming to us in that sense, I think they should be more open about the fact employer and employee, it's a family kind of an ecosystem.
You're not just checking off the list when you are taking us up as your EAP provider. You have to be fully bought into it, I think.
And I think with our intervention, with helping a person understand his interest areas, helping work on their strength areas, that would help us improve the productivity of the organization only at the end of the day. And I feel that human as a resource, is the biggest asset to an organization.
Absolutely.
So I think that needs to be,
changed.
And having said this also, I think employers as well as employees, both of them are getting a lot of, help also from our end, because when we're doing employee wellness programs, how we are kind of supporting them in terms of team building, motivation, and helping them enhance their personality factors. So I think that's also a very important aspect where therapist or, an entire team comes in and helps them deal with it. But I think these are a few issues that we
need to. Thank you so much, Aanchal. You were so candid, natural as always. Great to have you. Aanchal is on Mindpeers. If you want to book a session with her, like she explained, somatic, a lot of other things, she's right there. And feel free to do that. She's an RCI clinical psychologist. Aanchal, thank you so much. Always lovely to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I think pleasure was all mine that I could just, talk my heart out.
Thank you.